up the top stars from Hollywood and from all over the world to entertain you on a giant screen with the few colorful motion pictures you've been hearing about and reading
It's
about.
showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
We're delighted to have you with us. They're driving theater.
You'll find something to please you to add to your evening's enjoyment.
Is pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
Good evening, everybody. It is Monday, October 21st. It is 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, and you are tuned into the Drive-In Speaker Box Podcast. I'm your host, Bo, the Boom Operator.
I'm the Grip.
And we are back. It's another week. We've had another week. We are, like, October is almost over. I can't even believe it. It's been going by so fast. It's been flying by. I have not had a lot of spooky nights for myself of just sitting at home watching The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, and, you know, are putting on the Ghoul log and sitting with candles lit and spooky tunes playing, which is what I like to do. But it's been like also like 90 degrees. A lot. We had like a little.
Well, the morning will be 30,
and then
the evening is 80.
It's ridiculous. It's not cool, but it is cool for going and seeing movies. So yeah, we're here. We're here to talk to you about those movies of which you can go see, be they on streaming or theatrical releases or whatever you want to do. DVDs, Blu-rays, you'll find your way. But we're going to talk to you about those things. I went and saw a movie this weekend, a new release that's only playing in a few theaters in the country.
I was about to say, we had almost no new releases here.
Smile 2 was the big one. But there was a lot of like little indie movies that came out. Like there was I don't know, like The Fall, it came out in like 50 theaters. Now, if you've never seen the Fall, that is a, like, what was it? Sing, what's his name? The guy, he did The Cell as well. Really interesting director. But The Fall got re-released, which was kind of strange. What else got re-released? Hocus Pocus was re-released.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, Tarsem Singh. That's who it was. Thank you, Vince. Nightmare Before Christmas was in theaters. Like it was an interesting week at the theaters. But I saw Rumors. Rumors, of course.
The one you were talking about last week?
Yes, it was the one I was talking about last week. I did get to see it here. It was written and directed by Evan Johnson, Galen Johnson, and Guy Maddin. Which Guy Maddin, not really a person you see his movies in theaters a lot. And that's one of the reasons that I went to go see it. This movie, not for everyone, but we're going to be talking about it later in the show. And Jake, did you see anything?
No, I wanted to watch Vitayan, the new Superstar Rajnikanth movie.
Yeah.
But we only had it in one theater with super awkward times.
Oh, bummer.
Because, yeah, I mean, the only thing we got was Exhibiting Forgiveness or whatever. I had, what is that? The Rumors, and then Smile. And there's no chance I was going to watch Smile.
You can see Terrifier 3. Hey, thanks for the resub. 39 months strong over on Twitch. Thank you, Vince, for that.
I haven't seen Terrifier 1 or 2. What business do I have watching Terrifier 3?
I don't know. Just because?
Just because.
I mean,
I've
I'm sure
heard
it's not a super linear storyline that you have to follow.
No, but I've heard it's excessively gory, and I think I'd prefer to dip my toe into the first one or see how it goes before I just
dive into part 3. Does he have a jetpack though? He has a Santa pack.
Oh yeah, we've talked about it. Yeah,
part 3 needs a jetpack.
If he had a jetpack for killing people, that would be
pretty interesting,
pretty cool.
Well, I'm gonna be talking about Rumors later in the show, so stick around for that. But that's coming up at the middle of the program, so give you something to look forward to.
I could talk about Rumors, the Fleetwood Mac album.
That is a good album. That is a good classic album.
And how they made it because they were all banging on each other.
Sick of all that talking behind each other's back and screwing behind each other's back. But Stevie Nicks aside, we've got a couple of segments to get through. We're going to tell you about some news. We're going to tell you about some new releases. We're going to review a movie. Then we're going to tell you some box office stuff. It's going to be a packed show. It always is. It's a lot to stick into 60 minutes. So let's jump into the news. Jake, I saw you furiously writing some notes over there in the pre-show.
Trying to transfer some stuff from my computer to my paper. Since you brought up Terrifier, Terrifier 3 has made all of the dollars. Not to spoil something at the end of the show there, but it has gained 14 times its original budget.
Dang.
Yeah. So it's doing very well. So regardless of how many dollars it's made, it's already absolutely smashed whatever. So producers on that movie have to just be like, oh, like just so jazzed
Doing
about
backflips.
like everything.
Tony
Dang,
Jones with the
thanks, Tony.
resub.
Yo, everyone.
Thank
Sorry,
you,
I'm
man.
ready for the show. But yeah, so Terrifier 3 is out there just absolutely killing it. This was the first of those 3 that had a budget with 7 figures in it. The Terrifier 2 only had a budget of $250,000. What a success that probably
pretty
was.
cheap. I mean, that is an extremely small budget for a movie.
Oh yeah, but this one's budget was somewhere around like $2 million. And it's just absolutely killed it. So we'll talk more on that here. We'll give you the exact number later on. But yeah, dude, 14 times its budget in 1 week. Killed it. Which I guess is the whole point of it.
They're doing another one. Terrifier 4 is already greenlit.
Well, yeah, when you make 14 times your movie's budget in a single week, are you not just like, let's go?
Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Yeah, and maybe movies like that aren't so bad to just do the sequel thing. Like, you know, maybe it'll get there. Who knows?
What else you got?
It's talking about things that don't need to be made, though. The whole rest of my list is basically nothing but that. Mattel announced that they are making a Viewfinder movie. This is not like a joke.
Oh,
it's
my
not
God.
someone being like, what's the dumbest toy to make a movie out of?
I mean, maybe if they did it like, what was that movie, Inkheart, where was that who was in Inkheart? Was that who was in Inkheart? Come on, I can't believe I'm anyway. Inkheart was about this, the magic pen. You write it down in the book and it comes to life. And was Brendan Fraser in that? I don't know, but maybe it's like that. Maybe the Viewfinder, you put a slide in the Viewfinder, you look in it, you get transported to a magical world of monetary capitalism where everyone wants to buy the branded stuff.
So the way what they have said is that Viewmaster has long been a window to the wonders of the world, sparking imagination in kids and adults alike. So yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be. The only thing that they've said about it, dang, thanks, Tony. The only thing that they've said about is that it is a 4-quadrant family film, whatever that means.
4-quadrant.
Yeah. It's probably going to be that there's a magical viewfinder and it's helping some family strengthen their bond and come together or something.
But why do they? So Vince over on Twitch, he posted a comment. So if you guys are listening to the podcast, and you're like, who are these people you're talking about? We got a live chat that's over here right on the side of the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, which I see a few out on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on Twitch, you can comment right here and you can get a part of the action. 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, Monday night. But Vince says Mattel has a contract that requires them to make movies on a schedule or lose a lot of movies. They made a Battleship movie right under the wire, or lose a ton of money. Which, why does a company known for making toys and board games need to even make movies to start with? Yeah. Like, just make toys and games. Just do that. And then if you make a toy that's cool enough, okay, do we need to have a Viewfinder movie? Do we need to have a Monopoly movie? When they told me they were making a Tetris movie, I was like, bits. We're about to have a hype train over on Twitch. Look out, guys.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably just because there's already the contract there, right? They're going to lose it if they don't.
Hype train. Look at
they
this.
have to. Oh, dang. They have to
level 1, almost
just
level 2.
pump them out. And plus, I guess the merchandise. Oh, god damn, 100% hype trade.
Level 2.
They're going to have to. I mean, the merchandising's built in. Is the whole thing. I think. I don't know if that's a big boost in sales for those. It
Oh, it has to be.
It gives them an opportunity to maybe redesign those or release new editions. I mean, look at the merchant.
Oh, just because Beetlejuice, like, I guess Zagnut repackaged their candy bar, because like who knows about Zagnut? I'm selling Zagnuts right now, and I reordered from this weird candy company that still gets them.
I was
And
about to say, you don't see them in any gas stations.
no, and they're delicious, and the packaging's all new now, and I hate it, and it's probably just because of Beetlejuice.
Right. Going back to the Terrifier thing, one of our viewers too said something. Velvet Santa mentioned something that I forgot to mention that I did have written down here, is that he'd heard lots of kids were buying tickets for another movie and sneaking in. The filmmakers of Terrifier did say that it would be even more money, more than 14 times its budget, like a significant amount, if it accounted for all of the teenagers that were buying tickets for other movies and finding their way into Terrifier 3. So, but yeah, that's a real thing. But yeah, Viewmaster, the movie, who friggin' knows? Also, things that we don't need, but that are going to happen. Running Man.
Another
remake.
one?
Yeah, they've been talking about it for
I
a
know,
while.
but I thought it was just one of those funny things that they're like,
No,
oh, yeah.
because it has old dude, Twisters guy. Thanks, Night Owlsley.
Oh,
The
sub. We're almost at level 3.
Glenn Powell.
Is he going to be
He's Arnold's
the Arnold?
character.
No. Well, who are they going to be to be the game show guy? Like
So
Drew Carey?
hold on, that's what I'm getting to here. Is that
Wayne Brady?
they just cast Josh Brolin as the villain, but he's not playing Killian.
Oh, is he going to be like Colonel Laserbutt or something?
He's a producer.
Okay.
So they might have a producer as the bad guy rather than the host, because in the Arnold Schwarzenegger, like the Richard Dawson character, Killian,
Yeah.
he was like executive producer
and the star.
the star of the show, the host of the show. But the one of the creators here corrected someone that tweeted out that Josh Brolin was going to be the TV show host, and he goes, not the host, but a producer. But yeah, Josh Brolin's been brought in to be the or a villain for the Running Man movie, which I don't need. It was done right the first time. Seems unnecessary. Why make something when Arnold
already did it perfect. I mean, you know, that like Running Man existed in a time of okay, so there was a movie. I'm gonna have to skip backwards. I saw a trailer to a movie about the Y2K internet virus, and it was like a 90s movie, and it featured like 90s internet, and it's like a coming of age, like party teenage movie, whatever, that actually looks pretty good. Okay, but you know, the internet and living in a time before the internet was just so ever present in our lives, we were able to create stories like Running Man and like Star Wars and these other movies that we just didn't have a fathomability of all of the technology that we have in our life. So that the weird distorted reality of that parallel universe, like you think about Running Man was set in the future. But they didn't have cell phones. They didn't have all these things. They didn't have streaming TV. It was still very much of that time with a very hyper skewed, like odd Twilight Zone spin on it. And I think that if they were trying to do Running Man now, like there's no direct correlation to tie that into. Back then there was like American Gladiators and all these different game shows that were on that kind of they were able to, you know, tie that into a little bit. And now it's like, what are they going to do? It's going to be like Love Island, but with lasers, like The Bachelor. Yeah. Like it's no.
People vote on their phone like American Idol and stuff instead of being there. Because if they're not there, how are you going to have the old lady that goes, I choose Ben Richards, and he goes, but ma'am, he's the runner. He's not one of the hunters. And she's like, it's my vote, and I can pick whoever I want, and I choose Ben Richards. He's one mean motherfucker. Yeah, that's like one of the best parts of the movie. Velvet Santa says American Ninja Warrior,
but they don't have any. They don't have any bad guys. It's just them against the obstacle course, or like Takeshi's Castle. I mean, Takeshi's Castle.
It is. It could be Takeshi's Castle, and at the end, it's because Takeshi runs them down in the go kart, just like the electric dude has his go kart in the Running Man. before he gets knocked out of it and then tries to get the girl or whatever. But also movies being remade that's just completely unnecessary, and I don't see how people can't be. I don't see how people could be excited for it, and it seems like something that would upset everyone. Lionsgate keeps talking here about how they are doing an American Psycho reimagining.
Saw that too. You don't need to reimagine a book that was already written very well.
Well, and it's a movie that so many people love and enjoy. And I mean, since it's a reimagining, are they changing the time period that it's set in?
Or they're going to miss the point of the movie.
Yeah, it's like a movie that's set in a time and it needs to stay there. And I don't know why you would reimagine, not because I guess that's what they're trying to say instead of remake. They're like, well, we're not remaking it. We're taking it, or we're looking at it with different eyes and doing a new vision or whatever.
Like, what does Bret Easton Ellis have to say about this? Like, his books, I mean, Less Than Zero, awesome book, pretty good film adaptation. American Psycho, pretty good book, pretty awesome film adaptation. Like, we don't need, like, his books are not easily adaptable, and we don't need a reinterpretation. We don't need a reimagining. There's a reason that book takes place when it took place,
Yeah. So that's going to be a thing that is a thing and does not need to be.
No. That does not need to be.
Yep. And just to continue this, like, why is that a thing? Disney is making a Prince Charming movie.
What?
Yep. So as if everything else is not enough for them, they're going to make a Prince Charming movie.
Is he the bad guy?
No, it's probably going to be him.
They'll be like, oh, look at this predator. He came into the sleeping woman and kissed her.
Well, so that's the thing.
Then he gets canceled.
Which Prince Charming is it?
Oh.
Because generally Prince Charming is Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty or whatever.
Well,
right?
And even Cinderella, they're like, this asshole throwing this big, like, Puff Daddy style party, and all these girls are throwing their clothes everywhere, and he picks up this, like, missing shoe and is like, man, I gotta find this babe because
I don't think that's how any of that went down.
I'm saying that's how they're gonna spin it.
Oh.
No,
I don't know.
It's 2024.
Disney would do that.
Down with
Disney's
the patriarchy,
making R-rated
man.
movies, but
They are. And then they're going to cut his dick off.
Yeah. Well, but it's
Art the Clown's going to come out,
yeah,
stab his wiener, and then
yeah,
Deadpool's going to go, what? And then they're going to make
Deadpool
$1 trillion.
stabbing his butthole, Art stabbing his ding dong. It's the year of the cinema ding dong stabs. Yeah. Well, so Disney's making it. It's done by the guy that did Paddington and.
If it's the guy that did Paddington 2, then maybe. So okay, there's a conversation going on in the comments that we need to jump out. I guess this goes back to a comment from Tony Jones. Tony says they are doing Neverending Story and Goonies. Leave those treasures alone, please.
I don't think they're letting Goonies can't be touched, right?
I think they're going to do a sequel with the cast, right? And Night Owlishly chimes in and says, "Do you think we don't need it, or do you think that we are getting old?" And that's a really interesting. So here's a topic that I've actually talked about on the speaker box a long time ago, and it's the conversation of, do we like these things because it's nostalgic for us, or do we like them because they are of quality and we don't want to see them messed up? And I do believe that there is a little of both, but for most things, I'm willing to argue that it is of quality. And I used to have an experiment that I would do on my younger sister, and my younger sister is of a different generation than I am. She's like 17 years younger than me, which is a pretty nice age gap there to be like, okay, you didn't grow up with the same movies that I did. What do you think about this movie? And some movies she's like, I don't like this. Or, and I used to work in childcare too. So I'm sitting here, when I was like 27, 26, and I'm showing movies to, 8 and 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds. and go, what do you think of this movie? And sometimes they're like, this is boring, this is dumb. But sometimes in the case of like Back to the Future, in the case of like The Goonies, and some of these movies, they're like, this movie's so good. And then you go back and they're like, when they have a frame of reference of that first one, they're like, oh, well, this one's not as good. And it was The Crow was another really good example. And I think I talked about it when I reviewed the new Crow movie. I was sitting in a theater, and there was like in the aisle next to me were like these very emo-y teenagers. I mean, probably 17, 16, whatever. Looked like, kind of mall goths, right? Shopped at Hot Topic and all this stuff. And as we're leaving the theater, I kind of hear him talking, and I was throwing my drink away, and I said, hey, odd question. I do a movie show. I'm actually about to leave and go talk about it right now. But clearly, we are from two different generations. I grew up loving The Crow. What did you think about this movie? And they're like, this movie sucked compared to the original. And I'm like, you've seen the original? And they're like, yeah, we love the original. It's so good. And this wasn't even close. And I'm like, okay, thank you. So that right there is another one of those elements, is a movie doesn't have to be nostalgic to be good from another time,
Well, sure. I mean, I like plenty of movies from
before my time.
Yeah, far before I was alive. Stalag 17 is my favorite movie.
Mm-hmm.
I still absolutely despise the oh shit, what's the title? Rooster Cogburn, True Grit. I hate the new True Grit. It's not John Wayne. It's not right.
There is a reason some of these movies are so famous, and it's not just because it came out back then and everybody was a certain age back then. A good timeless movie doesn't have an age requirement to enjoy it. There's all kinds of fun movies that, just the original Star Wars trilogy, you put that in front of kids and most of them are going to go, dude, Empire Strikes Back is awesome. And they're going to be like, Star Wars Episode 1, pod racing's cool, but, and then, they'll skip over. And that people like good quality stuff is good quality stuff. Let's see. Velvet Santa on Twitch. Love the new True Grit. I really felt cold in the theater.
No, I hate it. That movie's dumb. Don't like it. It doesn't have the same weight or impact to any of the scenes or characters. It's not as well done, and Rooster Cogburn it's the only role that John Wayne ever got an award or nomination or whatever for, and to choose that as the remake, I did not like it. Velvet Santa says at least they didn't use Colorado for Arkansas. Yes, they did.
They did.
They did in both versions. They used not Arkansas and not Oklahoma for the portrayal of Arkansas and Oklahoma. In fact, there's a video game. It's a Western game. Crap. I'm so bad at remembering things.
Red Dead Redemption?
Not Red Dead Redemption. It's one about these brothers. One, the McCalls. One's
Red Dead Redemption is the only cowboy game I know.
One's this religious zealot dude, and the other they're outlaws. And it's the sequel because there's several of them. But in the second one, you are in Fort Smith and you leave Fort Smith and you're instantly in the Rockies, and it's True Grit. It's how True Grit works. But that just it's more scenic or whatever. But yeah, both movies do that very wrongly because I've been throughout our state and traveled into Oklahoma, and none of it looks like that. So anyhow, yeah.
Any other news?
Prince Charming's a thing. Yeah, man, we got Warner Brothers out here just acting up.
Hawkins says Last of Us.
They have announced that there is a release for a Looney Tunes movie. Following them announcing they were going to shelf Coyote vs. Acme, and then the world getting upset about it. They're like, you're not going to Batgirl this crap. Give us the movie. We want to see it. And then being like, oh, crap. Okay, well, yeah, we'll release it, or we'll shop to see if someone wants it. And then just quietly putting it back on the shelf again. So now Coyote vs. Acme will never be seen by anybody.
But they're making a Looney Tunes movie instead.
They've already made it. And they've announced that it will be released February 28th. and we will see if that will happen. This one is called The Day the Earth Blew Up. It's starring
Marvin Martian.
Porky and Daffy. Maybe.
I mean, it needs to have Marvin.
Yeah. Well,
His super weapon.
the CEO or whatever, the CEO of Ketchup Entertainment. He's like, yeah, for generations, the Looney Tunes have had a soft spot in the hearts of fans the world over. You know,
So now
and
Warner
he's
Brothers?
just so jazzed about it. But there's no way that if WB lets this one out, it's just going to open up that Coyote versus Acme can again. So
Yeah, I want a Wile E. Coyote movie.
well, apparently everyone that's watched that movie has been like, Wile E. Coyote versus Acme is actually really good.
Well, because
and
Wile E. Coyote is one of the best Looney Tunes characters there is.
WB's just sitting there
He's a
shredding
super
the,
genius.
shredding the film, and they're like, "What did you say?" They're like, "Insurance money, dude. We're not letting this out." And then one other thing that need not be made but exist: more New Trek coming at you. If you're a fan of New Trek, Section 31 TV show with Michelle Yeoh. That's the one good thing.
Oh, man, that does well. Okay,
People
so
liked her character.
section. So okay, not to because I know we can deviate on a Star Trek like spiral here pretty quick, but I feel like I remember in previous episodes you saying that you don't like the Section 31 storylines. You did not like because it deviates from the kind of original idea of what the Federation stood for, right?
What are you asking me?
Yeah.
I don't mind the way they did Section 31 in like DS9 was pretty good, and they showed that they were something that
Because they're like bad guys.
the idealists of the Federation don't agree with, because but at the same time you have to have them. It's the same thing as
Because it seemed like there was a discussion that we had of like Section 31 was stupid because if you were to have the Federation, then Section 31 should not exist.
well, but it needs to, and that's the entire thing of any kind of government or whatever.
Wasn't the guy that played Death in Bill and Ted 2, wasn't he like an evil Section 31 guy in a couple of episodes?
Yes, in DS9 he sure was. Call of Juarez is the name of the Western games I was thinking of. Bound in Blood specifically. Section 31 is just one of those things where it's a necessary evil kind of a thing. The Defiant is a ship. It's also the Federation breaking treaties.
And putting armor and stealth.
Putting cloak onto a ship, which they had agreed not to. Things like that, which there's a whole episode of Next Generation about, like, the temptations to use technology that's forbidden and go against treaties and all of that kind of thing. I don't think Section 31 is a dumb idea. It seems like the Federation wouldn't survive because they are idealists.
So there's bad guys.
They're trying to live utopian, and it just doesn't work.
But they have to make a utopia. You have to, lie, cheat, steal, and murder.
I guess, yeah, sometimes.
Okay.
Or at least hold your own against Ferengi from time to time.
Espionage.
Yeah. Because, the Federation being utopian idealist is how they get into trouble with, like, those dudes that are like, we smart, we got big eyebrows, you fix ship. And then they just, like, capture and steal people, like the big dummies.
Oh, with the crap in their hair?
Yeah, well, they had the slick back and they got the big bushy eyebrows.
Yeah.
We smart. Because the Federation's dumb enough to fall into their ploys because, like, of course we'll help you. We offer help to anybody. And then they get eaten because they're dumb idiots. Yeah,
Trek.
Stuff like that.
Prime Directive.
Speaking of getting eaten, last bit of fun news here for everyone is that there's some new trailers out. There's a movie called Werewolves.
Not Werewolf or Wolfman?
No, this is a different one. Werewolves, it's the year after a supermoon turned millions of people around the world into freaky werewolf monster people. It's now time for another supermoon, and the transformations will begin, and they're trying to fix it. They're trying to give them medicine that'll fix it, and of course it doesn't work, and so now it's like it's like Purge, but with werewolves. So like everyone's like barricading their homes and getting their weapons ready, and they're like, shoot first and ask questions later. And the government's like, hey, good luck tonight, everyone. Hope you're alive tomorrow when the moon's gone. It actually looks pretty cool. The transformations of the werewolves.
That's
look
always
a lot of fun.
that's always a good. You know, you got to have the good transformations.
Yeah, and there's like some pretty cool practical effects shown in the trailer, like werewolf costume, like stuff.
Because werewolf movies are kind of hard to pull off right. There's a bunch of them, and there's a bunch of bad ones.
Yeah.
You know, finding a good werewolf movie is tough.
This is clearly not the biggest budget film ever made, but it looks fun, and the werewolf at least looks really cool. And they show him like hunched and just like blood dripping and like sneaking into houses and blasting through doors, and they look cool. The practical effects look pretty slick. So it might be a lot of fun. And then there's a trailer for a movie called Ash that came out. It's like a sci-fi thriller, right? There's a lady and she's the sole survivor of a mission where her entire team was killed except for her. Hence sole survivor. I don't know why I said that. And she's like stranded on this planet, and then Aaron Paul comes.
Oh,
in.
Aaron Paul.
He's there to rescue her
With some tequila.
and she's trying to figure out if she can trust him or not.
You can't.
You won't garner any of that from the trailer. The trailer is just nothing but like creepy, her like saying like weird things and like, you showed me this and I can't believe it, and then it's like, you showed me dying or something, and it's all these crazy visuals and stuff like that. It looks pretty cool. It's like a trailer's very visually impactful. It'll probably be some sort of mind type thing. Yeah.
Mind monster movie.
Yeah. So that one's out there. You can watch the trailer for that. It looks pretty cool. Sci-fi stuff, creepy things.
I do like a good sci-fi.
Lots of fun. Yeah, and sci-fis are supposed to make you think sometimes.
Did you watch that Adam Sandler sci-fi movie where he goes crazy and
With
talks
the
about Big
spider?
Spider?
No,
Yeah,
the
it's Paul
spider.
Dano.
The spider's why I didn't watch it. I was real
The
excited
spider
about
was
it.
so nice.
Yeah, I was real excited about it, and then I watched the trailer, and it's like the spider being like, "What are you doing, human? Should I
Yeah.
bite you?"
No,
Like,
it's pretty
I don't-
good.
I don't want to watch this.
It's pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah, everyone said that. Everyone said it was really good, but there's something about like a creepy spider.
The anthropomorphical Paul Dano spider.
I'm sure there's like weird, like soft jump scare things that I don't need in my life, of like a spider, like low gravity flying around the corner and be like, "Hi, do you want to get bit today?" And Adam Sandler's like, "No," and the spider's like, "Okay, cool, just checking." Like, I don't want
He's
to.
eating his goop, and then they share the goop, and then become friends.
Is that how it works?
Mm-hmm.
I saw the trailers and it weirded me out, and I was like, I don't want to do that.
I don't
like
monsters.
Well, talking trailers and stuff too, there is the poster for the Karate Kid movie's been released, and it shows the new Karate Kid. And it's
Here, let me see if I can pull that up on the screen for people
it's
to
a
see.
kid in a gi and a hachimaki. So he's in like the karate outfit, and it has Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio both there. So
Yeah, if you're watching the YouTube or the stream, you can see Karate Kid Legends. He's there. They're so airbrushed.
yeah, and we'll get to know more about that as we get the last bit of what's that dude dressed like Shaq? The last bit of Cobra Kai released, and it's 2 parts. Is it two, or did they make it more now? At least 2 parts of the final season of Cobra Kai, because this movie takes place following the events of Cobra Kai. So
Speaking of TV, hot drop in the chat from Tony Jones. What We Do in the Shadows is on tonight. New season. Yeah, okay. I know what I'm gonna do later tonight. What We Do in the Shadows, one of the best vampire shows arguably ever. I mean, I am a big fan of the Interview with the Vampire AMC series. It's very, very well done. Can't wait for season 3. But What We Do in the Shadows, so good. I don't like a lot of comedies. This one I love.
just not to ignore it, Night Ashley says that she's enjoying the strong female leads used to read a ton of sci-fi fantasy with strong female leads, and she's glad to see it in the movies. We have discussed that before as delicately as we can, because we clearly look like people that shouldn't be allowed to talk about that kind of thing. When it's done right, it is very good, because when they're not trying to shove it in your face and remind you constantly that, hey, this is a strong female lead because she's a strong female lead. You need to get used to it or get the hell out of here. But when they're just like, check this out, this is cool.
Maybe you didn't notice, but
like Ripley and Sarah Connor, and
absolute badasses.
Yeah, everyone that you can look back and be
any Pam Grier movie ever made.
Yeah, be like, hey, this chick is rad. Things
I mean,
like
pretty
that
much
are cool.
any Sigourney Weaver role ever.
But when they do like the newer Alien movies where there's just like dumb idiot girls, they make the main character because it's a girl, or like the stupid girl in Prey, that Predator movie, where she's just
rubbing
like,
sticks together and then going ooh ooh, and then somehow kills an alien with technology from another planet.
Things like that, where they make them where they're like, they have such thick plot armor, and their character really doesn't make sense because she's practicing with her like stick on a rope for so long, and then finally is able to get it, and that's like the whole thing of the movie. Now she can take down
everything.
a 10-foot tall alien with super technology.
Because that's not believable. It could that could have been any person, alien. It could have been a fledgling xenomorph that just crawled out of the shell and was like me mama, and was terrible. And I would not have believed that it would overcome that predator.
Yeah. So things like that are dumb as long as it's done right. So in this movie, Ash. Having a lead like that could be very cool. Could be a good role.
It's like the new Matlock.
As long as they don't ruin her. Oh, with Kathy Bates. Have you watched that?
No, it's just popping up all over my, like every time I turn on my, because I have a Vizio TV, and you turn it on, it's like ads. Like these ads. Here's some ads for some ads you might want to watch while you watch more ads. Yeah. And I'm like, I just want to put on lo-fi beats to study and relax to, and do the dishes.
Yeah. Well, all the trailers for the new Matlock make sure to tell you that it's like, oh, we're not remaking it. We're just...
Night Alice over there says, my earliest memory is the daughter in Commando breaking out of the room just by being smart. I felt it was the opposite of seeing girls running upstairs in horror films. And that was
Alyssa Milano.
Yeah. And I mean, and that makes sense because she's, the daughter of like, what was his name? Like, John Matrix,
Matrix.
And it's like, of course you'd be a badass little girl because you grew up with John Matrix and you made sure that you're going to handle your shit. Yeah. And so it's just like, these terrorists, get out of here.
She's age appropriately.
And it wasn't unbelievable. Cool. It wasn't one of these like, oh my God, I can't believe this kid's thwarting. You're like, no, I completely. This makes sense.
She's not Kevin McAllister.
Yeah,
that would have been cool actually if she was like Kevin McAllister because John Matrix trained her.
Paint cans. Yeah. Anyway, like it's as long as it's set up to be believable, like that's the only thing. That's the only requirement.
Yeah. Well, Velvet Santa, Maddie Ross. Yeah, Maddie Ross is really cool in the original.
Oh True Grit. She's a badass.
Well, with her words at first.
Yeah.
And then she gets better at the end. But yeah, she. Because she doesn't take crap from anyone. Because everyone's like, get out of here, you little girl. No one wants you around. She's like, I travel all the way from Yellville, and I gonna know this lawyer, and you're gonna suck it, and I'm staying, and you're gonna bring me Rooster Cogburn. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can give this girl whatever she wants, man.
Or like Ruthie from Ozark, another just badass, and it makes sense that she's just a hardcore, no bullshit. Like her character was phenomenal. And that, anyway, I loved that character. And there's so many quotable scenes in that movie that I can't say because it's just so littered with F-bombs. But, there's a lot of them out there. Anyway, we got to review movies, guys. I got to talk about movies, man. We've been carrying on. We're way past the middle point of the show here. So I need to tell you about the new film Rumors, which is, I don't expect any of you to see. It is... The new film is about an hour and 45 minutes, written and directed by Evan Johnson and Guy Madden. Ari Aster and a producer credit. Everybody knows him, A24 fame. This movie is about the G7. I don't know if you guys already know the G7. It is the 7 wealthiest democracy in the world. They do their G7 summits. It is a thing that really happens. They are at a summit. They get lost in the woods while trying to draft a statement on a global crisis. The crisis that the world is experiencing. But they're facing some dangers as they try to find their way out of this scenario. This movie, oh boy, this movie. This is a movie that, when everybody is talking about movies that they would like, oh man, I'd walk out of that movie. Oh man, everybody's walking out of this movie because it's so grotesque. The Substance, people were just walking out. Substance had a very direct, cool narrative. Yes, there was some weird gore and weird, just kind of oddball stuff, but it made sense. Rumors is a movie that you got to be ready to think. You got to be ready to decipher imagery. You have to be ready to read between the lines, find the social commentary. This movie is dark, absurdist humor, like political satire, right? It is, and a great cast. Cate Blanchett playing the delegation from Germany. Charles Dance, Lord Tyrion Lannister. Everybody knows him. Bad guy from The Golden Ticket.
It was
He's
Tywin.
It was Tywin. Tyrion was the little guy. Tywin Lannister, the guy with the eyeball in Last Action Hero. I mean, Charles Dance, you know him.
He was the super vampire in Dracula Untold.
He's super, super cool. Nikki Amuka Bird was playing the UK delegate. Roy Dupuis was from playing Maximus from Canada. And Takehiro Hira was playing Japan. And there's really not a whole lot of... There's one other character, Denise Minochet, who was playing the French delegate. And this Italian guy, Rolando Ravello, not really... Doesn't even have a picture on IMDb, but he was playing the Italian delegate. But this movie is very hard to explain, and I'm going to try and explain it as best as I can. It's very much a soap opera. It's lit like a soap opera, which is really interesting. The music is incredible because they set up certain scenes and then cue very cheeseball music that is supposed to convey these emotions that just is so herky-jerky and uncomfortable and awkward. But everything is so ambiguous in this movie, much like politicians. And they are talking about all these things and they're using all these buzzwords, but they're not saying anything. And this movie is very much about the superfluousness of global politics and what are these people actually doing? What purpose do they actually serve, and what problems do they actually really care about? And the things that they're panicking about and the things that are causing them problems in this movie where they're trying to escape these scenarios that they're focusing on. But this global crisis, they're trying to make this statement, and the statement is they're starting off we should start by saying that thoughts and prayers. We're coming together because and they start listing important things that everybody deals with. And they're like, we got to make sure we mention this, and we got to make sure but they're saying all this stuff without saying anything at all. And then they get all flustered when the food's not coming out or they run out of wine. But then it takes this crazy absurdist chapter where all of the servants, all of the people at the summit disappear, and they're kind of trapped in the woods, and weird things happen, and they're trying to find their way back to civilization, but they encounter these weird little monster things. But then they start kind of turning on each other and thinking that the world's over. And this movie makes next to no sense, guys. Trying to describe what this movie's about, it's borderline impossible. But this movie is about lots of insane imagery that tells us that politicians are stupid, and that they really are probably don't have our best interests in mind, and that they are just people as well. They're just people that are in a position to lead. And what makes them better than anyone else, you know, and what makes them immune from the same foibles that any of us have as normal people. You know, we there's like a weird little love triangle, and there's jealousy, and then there's somebody cheats on somebody else, and then, you know, this movie, there's a giant brain in the woods even, and one of their aides like self-immolates herself on top of this giant brain. And it's hard to explain the brain, but the brain is a metaphor for logic coming onto play, and they like don't understand it, and they don't want to deal with it. And like, I could bore you with a lot of artistic imagery interpretations, but I'd need visual aids to go through this. Let's just say this movie, I cannot believe I saw this movie in a theater. You know, this movie is like, what was the Lighthouse made more sense than this movie did, but in a way that I enjoyed. You know, this movie was still very fun to watch. It is a comedy. Velvet Santa says, was it pants-worthy? You know my answer to this. All movies are pants-worthy. Go see a movie in the theater. The theater is pants-worthy. Do I think you're going to like it? Probably not. You know, this movie is not one for many people. I know a lot of people would turn this shit off like after the first 20 minutes because they're just like, I don't understand what's going on. But it's a very well made movie, and you just do not get a chance to see movies made by Evan Johnson and particularly Guy Maddin on a big screen. You know, Evan Johnson, known for The Green Fog. A lot of his movies I have not seen. I do know The Green Fog. That was 2017. Most of his movies are shorts, but he is also a very oddball experimental director. And Guy Maddin, we talked about him a little bit last week, but The Heart of the World and The Saddest Music in the World are two of his, you know, most acclaimed films. But they are a lot of oddball movies, a lot of art house films, and very short films, and very just odd stuff. So it's definitely Sissy Boy Slap Party. I forgot about that movie. That is another short film from Guy Maddin that's actually quite good. I'm about to go back down a Guy Maddin rabbit hole, but if you want a good entry into art, like true art house cinema, here you go. That's it. If you want to be one of those guys, you can check this movie out and then feel like, oh yeah, okay, this is art. This is art. Cinema. This is cinema. And then you'll understand why most art house theaters go out of business.
Well, apparently there's a very famous professional wrestler in that Sissy Boy Slap Party movie.
Is there?
Yeah, Kenny Omega.
I guess so. Kenny Omega is in it. I don't know what a Kenny Omega is, but
he's a super famous professional wrestler.
Well, he is in Sissy Boy Slap Party.
Part of the creators of AEW wrestling, and he was a former leader of the Bullet Club.
Well, you should watch Sissy Boy Slap Party. It's only 2 minutes long.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Guy Maddin's an odd guy, but makes some pretty good movies. So anyway, the Rumors is playing in theaters here. It's only playing in what was it? 630 theaters nationwide.
Wow.
Its per average was pretty low. Not making a whole lot of money out there, but it's an interesting one for sure. So with that said, maybe we should transition over to the box office roundup. Only have a few minutes left, and we need to tell you what movies made money. Top 10 movies in America. Jake's going to take over here and give you the rundown. We're going to give you domestic numbers with a little bit of world numbers peppered in there. And we always say if you follow the money, you can see the trends. You can know what we're going to get more of. You can know what we're going to get less of. It's an important segment. And you can also play Hollywood Stock Exchange or some of those other things that Dina over on Twitch used to be really, really good at. So there you go. Number 10, Jake, what we got?
Actually, number 11, because you just mentioned it, is worth talking about because it climbed from 13 up to 11, even though it dropped in how much money it made, which is just the weirdest thing. The Substance. So it's coming in at number 11. But in the top 10, at the end of it, number 10, Nightmare Before Christmas 2024 re-release. Second week for this, $1.2 million brought in by it. Just under $5 million for Nightmare Before Christmas at the theaters this time around. Above it, at number 9, Saturday Night, that we talked about last week. $1.7 million brought in by it. It's been out 4 weeks. It's wide release.
Yeah, it was wide release last week.
It actually gained some more theaters, but that's brought it up to $7.5 million for that one. And then above it at number 8, Transformers 1. It's been out in theaters for 5 weeks already.
Can't believe that.
Just shy of $2 million brought in by that one. 56.6 million in the U.S. 62 elsewhere in the world, bringing it up to just under 120 for its worldwide total. And then at number 7, Piece by Piece. Second week out from Focus Features. $2 million brought in by that one. 7.5 total for that movie so far. And then at number 6, Joker, Folie à Deux.
Wow.
Which I've been told is saying it wrong, but you know what? We're trying. $2.1 million brought in by that one in its third week out. That one you talked about on the show a little while back. It's brought in 56.4 so far. Another 135.6 million elsewhere in the world. 192 so far. I wonder what its production and then advertising brought it to, because it probably still hasn't made that. I imagine those commercials.
Probably another 100 million.
And then at number 5, climbing from the 18th spot.
It's been getting a lot of good press.
Yeah. So first week with some actual theaters to it. We Live in Time. It brought in $4.1 million. It's in 985 theaters, 980 of those being added this last week. So it's its second week, but $4.5 million is what it's brought in so far. Yeah, I mean, it's Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. Florence Pugh's real big on the internet for some reason.
Making money.
People talk about her. And then at number 4, dropping from the third spot, Beetlejuice, $5 million for it. 7 weeks out, $284 million. Another 150 elsewhere in the world, bringing it to $434 million. Who would have ever thought?
I would have thought.
Oh, that movie sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, but it's big. It's a big deal, man.
And
Everybody, I have a huge.
I get that it's a big deal.
Huge Beetlejuice area right now at Pinpoint, and people are losing their minds.
But it has like 7 plots, and
I know
none of them matter. And
because that's the thing, none of them matter.
None of
it doesn't matter.
It's just the point that Beetlejuice is on a movie screen, which is not enough for a movie.
Yeah.
But I guess it's enough to make $500
That
million.
is our audience now, man. Like, it doesn't matter what the movie's about, is if they're just up there doing the thing that people want them to see.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And then at number 3, Terrifier 3, dropping the top spot, $9.3 million. It's brought in 36.2, which is more than from that article I read and talked to you about earlier, because its budget was $2 million. It said 14 times that was at 28. It made more money than that even. So Terrifier 3 out there just friggin' running
Crushing
away with it. Yep. And then holding strong at number 2, The Wild Robot. $10 million brought in by that one. 4 weeks out, $101.7 million. It is due to be on VOD soon, I think. 95.5 million brought out elsewhere in the world, $200 million. But yeah, the VOD articles on that say, "Are you ready to cry?" or whatever. It's a sad movie.
Yeah,
it's
get
very good.
ready for sadness.
Yeah, I talked about that one a little while back. And then at the number 1 spot, the new movie that's available for people, because one of our viewers, Vince here, pointed out that Rumors is down at number 20 because it has no theaters. But Smile 2 brought in $23 million. So, and mirrored that across the globe. So 46 total for it at this point.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm glad it's here so that I don't have to see trailers. So.
Well, see, Vince over on Twitch said we got Back to the Future 2 35th anniversary, Saw Unrated 20th anniversary, and the start of Kiki's delivery service at Fathom Events going down soon.
Oh, nice.
So you can check those out, Fathom Events.
Yeah, Ghibli stuff going on, I think, throughout the end of the year. So Kiki's Delivery Service is a good one.
That is a good one.
Back to the Future Part 2. Man, that
Super
one's
good.
You get to see
That's that hoverboards.
Donald Trump Biff.
Oh, yeah, Donald Trump Biff, hoverboards, self-drying jackets, auto laces, flying DeLoreans. I mean,
Jaws 3D.
Jaws 3D. I mean, it was one of the more iconically visual of the Back to the Future movies. Everybody, the hologram hat, the dehydrated pizza, all of it.
Biff running his car into doo-doo again.
Again. I hate Manure. Manure. All right, guys. Well, and that was the one with the long tunnel on the hoverboard.
Yeah,
where he's like,
because then he grabs the front of the car. Yeah, and
Yeah.
when he grabs the flags and sails off, it plays the triumphant Back to the Future music, and then
he gets manured twice, doesn't he? He gets
In the future
He gets
and-
manured in the future.
well, it wasn't him though.
It was Griff.
Yeah.
and then
Dang,
Biff.
Biff sounded like-
He
gets-
and
Biff
it's
and
manure.
Griff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder why you don't get to see. Well, I guess that's Biff's kid. I thought it was his grandkid. But
No,
I guess it's
Griff.
no.
Griff.
It would be his
Griff
grandkid.
is his grandkid. Yeah,
You don't get to see.
Biff Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, it skipped a generation.
Maybe he's a nice guy, and that's.
They were like, yeah, let's write him out of it.
Yeah, it's the one too where you get to. There was something else super rad in Back to the Future too. Oh, the nails, the race against nails.
Yeah, with the fax machine and the 100-screen TV and the fax come in. You're fired. You're fired. Yeah, no. This Back to the Future 2 is so good. All right, guys. Well, with that said, we will see you guys next week. Let's see, what is next week? I'm gonna make sure. Yeah, we'll be here next week. I don't think there's anything obstructing the drive-in speaker box next week.
Yeah, Halloween's not till Thursday.
Not till Thursday. So, all right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Download this wherever it is you download your podcast, or follow us along live every week on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. We really like Twitch. It's a lot of fun, and we started up 30 minutes early for you guys for the pre-show. You can find us over on our Discord server. Everything you need drive-in speaker box wise is on our link tree, driveinspeakerbox.com. You can find us there. And with that, we'll see you later.
See you.
As you leave the theater, folks, please be careful. Don't let this happen to your car. Be sure to remove the speaker before you leave. If you should accidentally pull a speaker loose, please turn it in at our snack bar or box office. Thank you.
Some herbs and spices.